What's up, y'all? This is Hussein Nasser from iGeometry, bringing you the 10th episode of object-oriented programming. Yeah. So, so as a summary for you guys, this series has been really fun for me to record and practice. So the initial intention of the series was to be some sort of a by example approach to programming. So for those people who find programming really difficult or challenging, the reason is that when you want to learn programming is that basically you go online to Google and search, hey, I want to learn programming, and you said, hey, what language you want to program with, right? And that's the confusion. We learn languages, not the concept of programming language, and that's really the confusion, why it's really difficult for people to grasp programming in general. And are we recording? Yes, we are. So that was the reason why it's really challenging for some people to learn programming in general. So, and the reason personally, I think it's because the current tutorials or websites are teaching you about certain, certain uh, about certain aspects of a programming language, like how to do loops or how to declare variables or how to declare arrays. But the thing is that you don't know when to use these concepts, right? These tools, you don't know how to use them. You don't know when to use them. So that's why it get confusing. I mean, okay, why I'm doing this? Why I'm learning this? There's no purpose for learning how to do a loop if I don't know where to apply it. That's why it's really confusing to learn programming this way. This method of teaching by tools is works for people who know programming, like people who already know how to code and they want to learn another programming language, say like Python. So you go and see, okay, I want to write a program. I know what I'm going to write, but I don't know how. I don't know the syntax, which is the language, whatever. So the language constructive, language basically, literally, yeah. So how do you construct words? How do you talk to the computer through this language, right? This is the syntax they call it, and people, it usually works if you already know how to program. But the problem is that if you don't know anything about the program or you're new to this uh, to this realm of programming and you want to just like do something, but that's the problem, right? So personally, to me, I think the way to learn programming, I mean, this is I how I learned it when I was 16 years old. So I wasn't even know there was something. So I got my computer when I was, I think, yeah, 15 years old. So that was in Windows 95. Yeah, so, and I've been to my uncle place, and he was doing something with a computer, so he was writing some commands, and I was really interested. So I asked him, "What are you doing?" So he told me, "I'm programming the computer." So I told him, "What is programming? What do you mean programming?" So uh, I always thought that computer comes like as a box and it does certain things, you know. So I didn't know that you can actually change its behavior. So he said, "No, actually, you can make the computer do whatever you want." And that really blew my mind away, because imagine this machine and you can tell it what you want and it can do it for you. So this idea really struck in me. So I told him, I want to learn programming. Can you teach me? He said, okay, I'm gonna give you a book. And this book was called Learn Visual Basic 2 using on Windows 3.1 with John Socha, which is or Soka, I don't know how to pronounce his name. So he was the author. So this guy, I mean, although the book is really simple, but this is how I learned programming. Seriously, I was a teenager. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you how. I hope I don't bore you of this, but it's important to talk about this because this is like an introduction of programming. Why I did this, right? So, so the reason is I just grabbed this book and I started following it. My uncle told me, hey, you would like a compiler to write your code on, or an interactive development environment, an IDE to write your code on. So I told him, okay, what do I need? He said, take this. This is called Visual Basic. Okay, this is Visual Basic 5 at that time. 6 wasn't even born there. Or maybe it was there, but I don't know. I got this. That's the software I had, and it was licensed. So I installed it on my machine, and I had Windows 95 and Visual Basic 5, all right? And the book was actually Visual Basic 2 with Windows 3.1. So it's an old book. So I said, I didn't pay attention to this, so I just followed the instruction. And imagine, I was able to, although the language almost different, and I never knew anything, right? The Windows interface is different, obviously, but I learned programming using this book. So this book, although it's not even famous, I searched in Amazon, it's not even there. It's there, but it's like it doesn't even have a rating. But this is to tell you that marketing really change our mind. I mean, all about this advertisement, like it shows you, it makes certain books really go up while they are really have no value. But real books, real value comes from honest books like this one. So I'm gonna tell you what's so special about this book. So what is so special about this book is it doesn't teach you Visual Basic. It teach you how to code. That's it. So first thing, I opened the book. What is the first thing the author is telling us? He said, "Hey, all right. So you're reading this book, so you're interested in learning programming. Okay. So we are going to build a clock. How about that? So we're gonna build a clock and we're gonna display it on the computer." And I was, wow, we can do that? I was skeptical. I mean, there's a clock already in the, but it was ugly back then. So he said, we're gonna display it, and then we're gonna draw it by ourselves, and we're gonna do a lot of fancy stuff. And so as a teenager, I was so excited. I mean, okay, we gotta do that. Let's do that. And of course, drawing stuff, as you can see, I mean, you're gonna draw a clock, right? So there's a lot of math involved. I mean, there's an angle, and you're gonna draw things from a point to another point. And I just followed his examples, and I was typing, like reading the book and applying. Totally different languages, but I mean, not the same language exactly, but it's just the syntax was a bit odd. I mean, but I was able to do it because he was not telling me. If he started the book, he said, okay, variables or loops or or functions, I would be so fucking lost, because what the hell is that? Why I'm doing this? It's boring. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna learn that. It's theoretical. So that's the problem of the modern ways of learning a language. So back to so that was my story. So and then after that, we wrote a clock, and then I remember we wrote a calculator, and we did a lot of examples. So he's teaching us by example, and as we need a tool, he's teaching us that tool. So I'm gonna I since then I just was amazingly uh, I was amazingly baffled by this approach, and I'm applying it in all my teachings, so, and this is why I started this series, object-oriented programming. So I'm going to teach you or talk about object-oriented programming using examples. That's it. And the example we said back then, episode 1, was to actually write uh, a system or a program that it's a pizza ordering system. So we don't have any single line of code, and we started building that from episode 1 to episode 9. We had done tremendous amount of work just to do that software, and we're getting there. So imagine we did all that, and that's why I want to know, you guys, if that approach was helpful or not. I mean, it worked for me. So I want you, by the end of this episode, to tell me if this worked for you. I am going to continue this series. If I don't get any responses, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop anyway at this episode number 10. And if I don't get any response, if I get enough responses to resume this episode, I'm gonna go ahead and resume it. So far we introduced how to create our own pizza, and we changed all these, we introduced this classes, polymorphism, design patterns, all these things, and we were able to calculate the price of a pizza. So I was planning, quote unquote planning, to do that. Next is actually to save this pizzas as an order in a database. So, and we're gonna retrieve those, and we're gonna do all fun stuff. But if I get enough, there's the deal. If I get enough interaction from you guys on this series, I'm gonna resume it. Else, there are other series that people are requesting me to continue. Like I'm doing a C# with ArcGIS add-ins, so that's a very specific thing. For it's an add-in on top of an existing program called ArcGIS. That's my specialty, basically. By the way, so my specialty is a geographic information system. I'm a product engineer at Esri, and I certify software. I work on the geodatabase team, so I'm not gonna bore you with the details. But so we build the geographic location-based software, and the top is actually ArcGIS. So I'm currently on a series that help people extend ArcGIS to build their own software on top of that platform. So here is basic programming only, and I'm really enjoying this. As a product engineer, I don't get to do much coding. I do a lot of testing, and I enjoy that because I find a lot of stuff, and I learn how the software will work in a bigger picture. But I miss programming, so I come back here and program for you guys and enjoy this hobby, really. So, all right. So after this long introduction, which is, I don't know how long it took us, but really, as I told you, we're gonna continue only if I saw interaction. So this is the last episode as of now. Episode 10 will be the last episode of object-oriented programming, and it's gonna be a long one. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do. So let's get back here. Let us get back here. What do? We want to fix something really ugly here, right? The problem with that is following. We have a lot of methods here. So we have add onion, add meat, add chicken. What else? Add whatever, add meat. Each one has his own method, but what if I want to add a new ingredient, like Like I want to add, I don't know. I want to add a green pepper. I want to add garlic. I mean, will I keep opening my code and add this stuff? It's ugly, and this stuff is more uglier. And so now we want to get rid of all this crap and replace it with a nicely polymorphic approach. I don't know if this is the right word or not, but we're gonna replace it with inheritance. Yeah. So we're gonna introduce something called, we're gonna delete all this crap and introduce something called ingredient. So let's create a folder. Ingredient. Wait a second, is this the right spelling? Don't judge me, guys. Damn it. I think it's right. Yeah, it's right. Fuck you, Yahoo. Wow, it's Valentine. How about that? Happy Valentine's Day, you guys. Why is he crying? Ingredient, yes, good spelling. All right, go back. So I want to add an interface here. So you guys know what an interface is. I'll go to the previous episode. I'm gonna call it I ingredient. Did we call the previous one I? Yes, I crossed time. I just call interface start with an I. You don't have to. It's just the way I do it. Interface. All right. So what do we have in an interface? What do we have in an ingredient? An ingredient, of course, has a name. All right. All this. It doesn't have public, so we'll remove that. It has a name. So add 3 commas here. Say ingredient name. Oh, potato, tomato, mushroom, all these kind of ingredient. And of course, more important, price. An ingredient has a price. Oh, this price. All right. What did I do? Just type property price as double and remove this. I'm having a hard time because I'm using the tracker. Price. Price of the ingredient. What else? What are we keeping here in the pizza? Add meat. We are keeping track of how many meat portions, right? Or onion portions. All of this will go away. So see this introduction of ingredient? We're gonna introduce, using this, we're gonna introduce loops, because we're gonna need loops here. So we're gonna do our first loop here finally. All right, but I didn't. So imagine after 9 episodes, we didn't need a single loop. After 9 episodes, this is our first loop. It's just so popped up, you know. Sometimes you can't write a program that doesn't have loops. So imagine, it's okay, right? So we have loops. We're gonna have what else? I think that's it. Yeah, we're going to introduce arrays too. Arrays and loops, that's it. All right, so we have ingredients. So let's add our first ingredient. It's just a class. So for simplicity, I'm gonna make it chicken. And chicken implements I ingredient. And yeah, that's it. So what is the name of this? Since we have a constructor, sub new, and name is equal chicken, and the price of the chicken we can put it here. What's the price of the chicken as we said it? Oh my god, all this shit will go away, finally. 1. Alright. Sweet. Let's add another ingredient. Meat. Implements I ingredient. Public sub new. When you create a new object, by the way, I put a nice explanation about class versus object. It's a blog entry. Go read it. It's in the first episode of this series in the description. You'll enjoy it. About this cupcake analogy. Although I don't like it, but some people find it useful. Okay. Meat. Price is equal 1.5, I think. Oh. Yeah, it's 1.5. Onion and cheese. Almost there, guys. Almost there. What's the price of that? Pizza. 0.5. Yeah, just add these 3. I'm gonna get rid of the onion now. So you got an idea. Alright, so a lot of changes. Lots of changes. So, bye-bye cheese. Bye-bye onion. We don't need variables anymore. Bye-bye chicken and bye-bye meat. Bye-bye portions. I don't need to keep portions anymore. I'm gonna show you why in a second. Dough price. What's that? By the way, we have to get rid of this dough price. I think nobody's using it. Yeah. Bye-bye. Meat portions. Chicken portions. Inventory. Wow, my god, all this. This will gonna fuck us up. Lots of stuff, man. It's gonna be more difficult than I imagined. We'll see about that. Dude, all this will be very simple. All right, so now we don't need portions. All right, let's add a method called public sub add ingredient. So I'm gonna add a new ingredient in the pizza. So I'm in pizza class. I'm gonna add a new ingredient, and it's called p ingredient as I ingredient. So I don't care what this ingredient is. I'm just gonna add it. Now, as we keep adding ingredients to this in pizza, we need to keep track what are the ingredients of this pizza, right? So this is really simple. So all we need to do is basically have a property here. All right. So we need to talk about a new type here, which is called lists or arrays. All right. So a list of array is just simply a collection of the same thing. So I can make a list of, so let's declare here private list as list of integer. So this means I'm declaring an object of type list, which is the class, and this list is of type integer. Don't overthink it. Very simple. So all we have to do is to make this list as new, because we need to declare an object of this. So that's the new list. Now we have an object, and you treat this as some sort of a container, and you add stuff to it. Add, and it says list.add. Item, what's the item? Number 4. Add another item. Number 5. Add another item. Number 7. And so on. This is what's called lists, alright? So I'm gonna use the same concept here, but we're gonna make private ingredients as list of, not integers. I'm keeping a list. Think of it as a physical list, all right? I'm keeping a list of actual ingredients. And when I initialize or create a new pizza, I want this ingredient object to be of new list of I ingredient. This is just declaring a new object of this class, which is happen to be called list. All right, guys. All right. Of course, we need a property to retrieve that class. We're gonna do it later. All right. So when we add an ingredient, we said ingredients dot add, and you need an ingredient. We pass that ingredient to the function, and this is the function. So the client or whoever is using this pizza class should pass an ingredient here. I'm gonna add it. So there you go. Very nice. How about that? We replaced 5 methods or maybe more. So how do I know the quantity? Right? So I have a list. Now you told me that we're adding an ingredient, and first of all, we didn't talk about how to add an ingredient yet. Okay, which is, I guess most of you have figured it out already. So to add an ingredient, of course, this form has already been changed. All of this code will change. This is not applicable anymore. We need to use different approach, but we might keep that. All right. So to keep the inventory of things, but all right. So how do I add, for example, certain ingredients to this pizza class? Oh, there's a lot of work we need to fix. All right, so for example, how do I add cheese? Add cheese is a method, right? So let's fix that. How do I add cheese? To add a cheese, says first you have to check if the cheese portions are still there, right? Like if its cheese portion is greater than 0, then pizza.add cheese. And instead of add cheese, we say add ingredient. And then you need to add a cheese ingredient. How do you do that? New cheese. How about that? How simple is this? Really, guys? So we just added a new ingredient here. All right. How do I add? Oh, let's remove onions for now. Or I don't want to change. What did I do? What did I do? Oh my god! What did I do? The fuck? Oh god! It freaked me out. Alright. Alright, so let's add a new class called onion. Let's get this over. So we keep this consistent. Implement I ingredient and then public sub new. Name equal onion. And then price equal. What was the price of the onion again? Keep forgetting. Oh, I deleted that. God damn it. Yeah, let's say 0.1. It's cheap. Okay, we're good. We have onion. So if we add onion, very simple. Just add ingredient, new onion. Or you can declare p-onion as an I ingredient equal new onion, and you pass this onion. Same thing, alright guys? But just it's exactly the same thing. So whatever rocks you bought. I'm gonna fix this error next. We have an inventory of onion portions. We have to make sure and contain that. All right, we can fix that. It's okay. There's a lot of things there. There's a lot of work. We're introducing a lot of work here. Add meat. Same thing. New meat. All right. add ingredient, new chicken. Was that chicken? I think it was chicken. Okay, so here we were keeping track of how many portions of cheese do we have here. We can still keep that variable, but I was stupid, I just removed it. We can keep it, we could have kept it, but yeah, you can keep it and keep track of these people. But my point is that since we introduced the ingredient, we don't really need that. We can get the cheese portions and all these portions using a function to retrieve that, but we're gonna come to it, right? So let's, for now, let's comment this out, right? We don't comment it like that. Okay, let's comment these errors out. Guys, so I did not prepare for this, all right? So I just actually I just came from Big Bear and I opened the laptop and literally just start talking. So a lot of stuff I didn't prepare for. So I'm actually fixing this with you as we speak. So I don't know what is going to happen. So it's just my brain thinking, you know, it's just doing things. Calculate price, obviously this is all wrong. Get price, so it's just a piece of get price, but this method is that ain't right, man. That ain't right, son. Ooh, we don't have that. Ooh, we don't have that anymore. This will be bye-bye. The price of the dough, which is fixed always. By the way, this is wrong. The price of the dough can change, and we can add the price of the dough plus the crust type. That's polymorphism, design strategy, design pattern right there, guys. And if size is equal large, then we that's another if statement. Ugly. You guys can fix this using the design pattern. Same thing exactly. We're not gonna do this. If you give this video enough likes, I don't know how much enough really likes, but I'm gonna go and fix all these things, all right? So for now, we're gonna fix the ingredient thing. All right, how do I calculate the price, guys? So we run. We don't have errors, do we? We still have errors? What's that? Okay, this fucking margarita shit. It's just commented. Or, you know, add ingredient, new cheese. Let's add ingredient, new onion. Wait, power cable. All right. Save. Do you have another here? What do you have? Cheese portion. What's that? Where are we? Oh, that's just refreshing this again. We're gonna refresh that. Gonna fix it some other time. For now, we're gonna fix one problem only. All right. Create new pizza. Create your own. Thin crust. I will get that I add these things and they will be all the same price. That's really bad. Why? Because we didn't write a code to get that. So things are getting added, right? As I call add cheese, this add ingredient is being called and a new object is being added to that, and every ingredient has its price, right? So how do I calculate the price of this ingredients with an S? Really simple. We do something called loop. A loop is basically an iteration through the ingredients. Like, so for example, let's say we added cheese, another cheese, and onion, and then we added chicken. So what's the total price of this? So we're gonna loop through this. So this is how loop works, guys. Okay. First thing, we introduce the loop. This is the first time. So first thing, gonna point to the first location here, right? And you get the first object and you do something with it. And then you go to the next one and you do something with it. And you go to the next one and you do something with it. You go to the next one. So that's a loop until this list is exhausted. That's a loop. And the loop we're gonna introduce today is called for each. So literally, that's why I like Visual Basic. It's I mean, C# has the same syntax, but for each, literally for each P ingredient, for each ingredient. First, let's declare an ingredient here, right? I'm gonna declare an ingredient, right? Variable here, and for each ingredient in this list, ingredients, when I hit enter, the next keyword was added. So this is the loop. This is called loop. So for each ingredient, so whatever we have added, so let's add, we'll say we add cheese, onion, chicken. So this will say cheese, it will return cheese in this ingredient. And since cheese is actually a class inherited or implementing the ingredient, this will cast easily. So next is cheese, another cheese, and then an onion, and then chicken. So that's what, these are the things here. So what do you want to do here? Very simple. I don't care what's this ingredient here. I want to add the price of each ingredient. So the price equal the current price plus p ingredient dot get price. Or just dot price. How about that, guys? This is polymorphism at its core. Look at that. So this could be cheese, but I don't care. Could be onion, but I don't care. So the same code. There's no fucking if statement. There's nothing. So onion has the same price. I feel like a seller selling you pizzas, guys. Pizza, take two. Have one free. Okay. All right, back to war. All right, so the cheese will have a price. I'm gonna take that price. So the method that will get executed is this, right? So this will get returned. If it's onion, this will get returned. If it's meat, this will get returned. If it's chicken, this will get returned. How sexy is this? Seriously, guys. Seriously. Love this stuff. But I'm gonna add it now in a way that does not show. Like I'm gonna add two cheeses, one cheese, two cheese, one onion, one chicken. Calculate the price. Holy shit. It's actually working. If I get the calculate the price again. Nice. It's always getting me the most up-to-date price. And I get rid of a lot of code, you know. I don't have much code to maintain now. That's really good, right, guys? Good. So cheese, onion, meat, chicken. And let's add another portion of cheese. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice. Okay. So we introduced array. We introduced loops. How about that? So I want to fix this problem, right? So I want to show the inventory of things. So here I'm gonna write a function called in the pizza class get ingredient count. Okay? Capiche? Where's the pizza? So this function, public function get ingredient count, it returns an integer, but it takes an ingredient. What ingredient do you want to count? Right? So who can help me write these functions? And so simple. For each, I'm gonna loop through each ingredient. A different way of doing it. Ingredient as I ingredient. So I've got to do it in the same loop. It's the same code, right, guys? For each ingredient in the list, ingredients, what do you want to do? I have to do a fucking if statement. There's no escape. Right here, we have to do an if statement. So these are like the lesser evil, right? So we have to do an if statement here. If the ingredient name equal the ingredient, okay, this is confusing. We have we have to name this something else because I can't name this be ingredient. We're gonna call this PNG. Okay. If the current ingredient that I'm looping through is the same as the ingredient this guy is passing, the same name, then I need a counter. Give me a counter. And declare this counter as integer 0. And whenever I find, like I'm counting cheese, alright? So I'm passing, hey, count me how many cheeses do we have as ingredient. So for each ingredient, first ingredient, is the cheese is equal to cheese? Yes, it does. So it will execute this statement, count equal count plus 1. And if you want to be fancy, I can replace that. I'm gonna be fancy, guys. Count plus 1 equals same shit, right? So just being fancy, all right? Same thing. I really like to say count equal count plus 1, but I just want to be fancy today, okay? All right. So 0, and then it's cheese. Yes, I'm comparing cheese to cheese. Yes. So count, which is 0, equals 0 plus 1, so it's 1. Okay, next. Go to the next one. Ingredient. Oh, still cheese. Okay, is cheese equal to cheese? Yes. Okay, so 1 plus 1 equal 2. Next. Onion. Is onion equal to cheese? Nah. So go to next. Is chicken equal to cheese? Nah. Alright. And then we say return count. Return that count. If it didn't find, gonna return 0. Alright. So this is a very important function we just wrote here. Get count ingredient count. Alright. Here in the pizza, we don't care anymore of counting, so we can actually do that, right? So we want the cheese portions. We don't have the cheese portions, right? So we can get ingredient count of new cheese. We can say that. Good. So I'm gonna get the cheese ingredient count. How many ingredients of cheese do we have? Onion, unlock that. Get ingredient count, new onion. Some of you will say now, hey, you didn't fix the inventory, Hussein. What are you doing, man? You trying to trick us? Yes, I am. It's the same concept, right, guys? So new meat. The meats. Chicken. New chicken. Like them chickens, man. Alright. Let's see if this works. I want them thin crust. I want my chicken. Add cheese. Add another cheese. Keep adding. Oh, bug, guys, bug. We exceeded the damn inventory because I think we commented out some. Yeah, because we are not deducting this shit. So we are adding an ingredient of cheese, but I think we should, we should deduct or remove that particular ingredient from the inventory. So I think we're gonna end up doing that inventory shit too. Ugh. Ugly. Ugly code. Ugly fucking code. All right. So what do we have? We have 10 portion of meat, 10 portion of cheese. Oh my god. We're gonna replace all this with a nice property called ingredients inventory as, can you guess? List of ingredients. Yes, it's the same thing, guys. Tab ingredients. Just say ingredients. All the list of all ingredients. This is actual ingredient object. But instead of doing that, that's what I'm gonna do. So how do I add 10 portions of meat? Who is the smart guy who can tell me? Right? Think. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to guess. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Time's it up. Time is up. This is how we do adding 10 ingredients, guys. First of all, we have to do that. Ingredients equal new ingredient, list of ingredients. And then what we do is this sexy thing. 4. Oh, but this 4 is different. This is called 4, but not for each, as it's a count for. So 4. Let's declare a variable here called for I as integer starts from 0 to 10, from 1 to 10, and then this is next. This is the same loop, but it's different. So the difference between that loop and this loop is just it starts with 1, and then when you say next, it will add 1 to this I. So it will be 2, and then 3, and 4, until it reaches 9. Do you see this shit? This is 9, and to reach 10, it will continue, but if it will reach 11, it will stop, because 11 is more than 10, right? So that's how it works, right? So I'm gonna add 10 portions of meat. How do you do that? Ingredients, add new meat. Mind equal blown. Tell me your mind is not blown right now. Yes. I'm gonna add how many portions? Cheese. 10 portions of cheese. What the fuck? Okay, good. Sorry about that. Chicken. How many onions do we have? 14 only? Why 14? Why this number? Doesn't make any sense. How many? 15 chicken portions? Okay. I don't care. Okay, this is my inventory right there. Right there, son. Do I need this crap? No, we don't. No, we don't, son. No, we don't. We're gonna copy or steal a function that tell us how many ingredients counts do you have. Although I don't like to do that, and I can enhance it, but I don't want to now. I'm gonna steal this function and copy it where the inventory, because it has the same exact code. I want to count the ingredients. For each ingredient, pink. Being okay. Alright, so I'm counting the ingredients, same thing. When you compile, you're gonna get errors, all these things. Yeah, of course, I know. So we do that. We want the cheese portions of this. Cheese. And since why do we create 3? I mean, we are creating the cheese object 3 times here. So let's save some memory, guys, right? This is really wasteful. Cheese as new cheese. That's another way of creating. So that's why programming is confusing for some people, because there are like a million ways of doing shit. And people really get confused. Of course they will get confused. There are like a million literal ways of doing things. Like every programmer has his own, kinky way of doing shit. So you guys, yeah, don't be so hard on yourself. So this programming is really sometimes is a lot of stuff. Every person who writes to compile just introduces like a million ways of doing things. So yeah, so you can do it this way, you can do it equal new with the new without, you can do it in another statement. So oh man, come on, damn onion. He doesn't know how to write onion. Oh, but get ingredient count of pea onion, is that it? Yeah. Give me the new ingredients. Oops. Oopsie. Oh, that would be really challenging now. I just, oh my god. What did I do? What did I do? Dude. So we do that, we add ingredients. This is what is onion. We're adding onions there. We need, okay. Let's do this. Even if it takes 2 hours, we're gonna do this, guys. Because I love you. Bromance right there. Be meat. That's a complex code right there, man. So, I'm not saying that this code is the best code ever, so don't take my word for it. It's really getting out of hand. Plus, there are, it could be really, sometimes object-oriented can be really difficult to read. Like this in this case. I don't know if you can already guess that, but it's just challenging to read object-oriented code, but it's really easy to manage. So I hope things don't get out of hand. Alright. This is worth it. Give it to me, I'm worth it. I'm not worth it. Alright, so still we are missing something really. So this will work, I know, but it will still to show you something really weird now, right? So yeah, the ingredient, you saw that the ingredient is being increased, but the inventory is not decreasing. Why? Because we didn't decrease it, right? We didn't remove any ingredients from the inventory. So that's what we should do next. Inventory, our inventory dot remove ingredients. We need to add a method in the inventory to remove an ingredient from an inventory. Public function. By the way, I'm gonna share the code for you guys so you don't write all this. Remove remove this ingredient. Remove a ingredient from the inventory. This ingredient should become really difficult, man. So let's make it as a sub because we're not even expecting anything, right? So how do we remove an ingredient from the inventory? Very simple. Ingredient, we're gonna find, first we're gonna find if there are if the ingredient is there first or not. So maybe we should return a function that returns a boolean. Was I able to remove it or not? Right? So f inventory dot, oh, we are in the inventory, f get ingredient count. For this ingredient, if we have at least if we don't have an ingredient, if this is 0, then return false. Don't even bother, right? If this is if you try to remove an ingredient and it's already there's no ingredient, just return false. Says, hey, you don't have any ingredients. What are you trying to remove, right? Else we're gonna return true, obviously, and now we're gonna try to remove an ingredient from there. So now I'm sure that there is at least one ingredient of this type that this person sent, right? So how do I remove an ingredient? So we're gonna loop through it. P for each ingredient. So this is really tricky, right? How do I remove an ingredient? I'm just thinking now. So ingredients is a list. There is obviously a remove function here which takes an ingredient, but this will not work because this remove doesn't work this way. It just takes literally the same object. It finds the same object, but obviously these are all different objects, so we cannot really remove it this way. So how can we remove an ingredient? Let's think. All right. So we're gonna remove the first ingredient that we find, all right, by index. So ingredients that remove at a location. Let's try that, right? Okay, for each p ingredient as I ingredient in ingredients, if you find that ingredient, if you find this ingredient, p ingredient dot name, then what do? We say ingredients dot remove at, oh, we still can't do that. Okay, we're gonna change this loop into something else. For I as integer equals 0 to ingredients dot count minus 1. I'm gonna loop through it but differently. This is the same exact loop, but I'm looping through indices. So each array has values, right? So when you say this, the first value is cheese, onion, onion, this actually has values, and these values are like that. So the index number 1, index number 2, index number 3, they start from 0. So we're gonna start from 0 to count, which are 4 minus 1 to 3. So that's why a lot of people get confused with this. Even I get confused with this. So just keep practicing, guys. I know you were like expecting some tip or best practice, but no, keep practicing. You have to remember some lists start from 0, some lists start from 1, and this is really annoying. So ingredients of, and in C# it's like that, and in VB it's like that, right? So, and of I, so give me the ith ingredient, and if that is equal to that, then remove the ith and just return true. And obviously we do not need that, but just in case. So if there's no ingredient, then this will be false, right? If there is an ingredient, at least one gonna be there. So we're gonna loop through it, find it, and then remove it, right? So hopefully this will not return an error. First, okay, so let's see. Add ingredient, that's really good. We're gonna just do it here. remove ingredient of P ingredient. Okay, if you guys want to ask a question, this feel free, right? I'm not gonna explain here, but like some people say, okay, I said, why didn't you just did that? Ingredients dot remove. Where is it? Ingredients dot remove. And then you just pass the ingredient. I'm just gonna tell you it will never work. This will never work. Alright, but I'm not gonna tell you why. But even if you try, it will not work. I'm not gonna tell you why. But if you want to know the answer, I'm gonna tell you. Alright, guys. Alright, if I didn't forget. Alright, so now hopefully I hope this works, guys. If this doesn't work, I will be really embarrassed. Not really. I know. Look at that, guys. We cleaned the shit out of this code. And please, I want to do a final thing. I don't want to click this button anymore. I'm really tired. My hand hurts from clicking all these buttons. So what I want to do is, I want to do something really sexy. I want this to be calculated by itself every time. And I can't do it, I guess. Damn it. Did you notice that this code now is almost the same? So that's the beauty of object-oriented. It turns everything into the same code. I mean, it is barely the same code, and we can. I know we can do all this. I mean, we can do much more sexier stuff with this, all right? But I think we're gonna stop here, guys. As I told you, all right, this will be the final episode for object-oriented programming. Until further notice, we can go to let's call this the beginner list, all right? If I got enough requests, I'm gonna start the second series, which is called the intermediate object-oriented programming, all right? And I don't know if it's gonna be, but it's gonna be just pure object-oriented program. So we are not allowed to do functional stuff. Pure object-oriented, as much as possible, like this case, all right? So we did everything in object-oriented, right? But yeah, how about that? So we're gonna continue only if enough people requested that, right? If not, we're gonna do something else. I have a lot of plans, but once I finish, I eventually gonna return to this, and I want to start another episode called service-oriented architecture. That's my next goal, hopefully. Are we still recording? Yeah, so service-oriented architecture, so SOA. And I want to do sexy stuff with that. So services, REST, and SOAP, and all these beautiful things, the next gen stuff, cloud, all these things, man, yeah. But this series was necessary. I wanted to have a series that I can refer you guys to learn stuff, all right? So we can enhance this program. I'm gonna use this program as a base, as a library to do other series, like the services oriented architecture, how to do WCF, obviously you're gonna do REST and SOAP, and so many good stuff. All right, guys, that's it for me now. This will be the end of this object oriented programming. I'm gonna see you in the next one, hopefully. I'm gonna go back to do some GIS with the GIS folks that have been waiting for me. All right, guys, you stay awesome. See you in the next one. Goodbye.